Air Force Brigadier General and candidate for United States Senate in Maryland, John Teichert. Also with us is retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Tony Grady. Gentlemen, welcome to Wake Up America Weekend. Great having you here.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely. We want to get your insights. General Teichert, we're seeing hostilities in Gaza really ramp up. Israel has reportedly found a network of tunnels under a hospital in Gaza. They claim terrorists are using this as a base. Israel is also expanding ground operations in Gaza, as we've been discussing. Walk us through what the next developments in this war could be.
Krisha, it clearly seems like over the course of the last night, Israel did something they hadn't done up to this point. We had seen some limited raids, but now Israel has what is called a limited ground incursion, which is essentially they have taken territory in Gaza. They hadn't done that this far, and they are looking to use that likely as a springboard to achieve their objectives. And whether those objectives are additional raids or trying to unravel that spiderweb of tunnels that are underneath Gaza, or other activities, including a full-scale assault, we'll see over the course of the next few days.
All right, Colonel, I've been saying this all morning, that Israel's been emphasizing that clearly they intend to wipe out Hamas. And it's probably long overdue. And yesterday, the UN had a resolution urging a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. Do you think that will have any effect other than, the world using it as a PR campaign now to slow Israel down? But this time, I think it's one of those times that Israel's not going to listen. What do you think?
Well, I think Israel has an existential problem right now, and they will do everything to protect their country. Yes, in the news media, they will try to use world opinion to slow them down, but their objective right now is to go after their enemy and to destroy their enemy. So they have to close with their enemy, find their enemy, and destroy it. Right now, I think they're going to be ignoring whatever comes up in world opinion because, as I said, this is a situation where the existence of their country is on the line. Yes,
and a lot of people are calling for the end of the existence of Israel, especially here in the United States with many of the protests. The General Teichert, this Thursday, the United States successfully attacked 2 facilities in Syria used by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. What strategy should the United States and Israel be taking to counter Iranian influence in the war?
Krisha, I'm concerned that those strikes in Syria were too late, too weak, and accompanied by a tepid response or statement by the Secretary of Defense. We've been attacked 20 different times in the last 2 weeks by Iranian-aligned groups in the Middle East. And now all we've done is strike a couple of targets in Syria. And I was most concerned by that statement by the Secretary of Defense that was almost apologetic. 3 different times in 3 paragraphs explaining that this was just self-defense, that we're just protecting our troops, when the reality is that Iran only listens to strength, will, capability, and resolve. And what we did on Thursday night, or what we've done in the last 2.5 years, is far from that.
Yeah, Colonel, they only respond to strength, and we have been showing weakness. I don't even, sometimes I shake my head. I don't know what the commander-in-chief is thinking, but maybe he's not thinking. I don't know. Colonel, let me ask you, we've deployed 900 troops now to the Middle East, and now the Pentagon announced that roughly 2,000 troops were put on standby last week. So with this expanded presence in the Persian Gulf and in the region overall, do you see the United States transitioning at some point from peacekeeping to active combat?
I think what's important here is, as the general mentioned, and something that is important from being a senator, is that senators advise and consent. And I think what I would be challenging the commander-in-chief on is, what is his plan? What are his war aims? What does the end result look like? Yes, we need to respond, but we need to have a coherent response. So it's very important right now to find out what exactly we are entering into. We do not want something to escalate, or what we would call requirements creep, something that happens that gets us embroiled in something without having a plan of what we're doing. We always need to defend our troops. And as the general mentioned, our actions were a little late. So my challenge to this commander-in-chief is it's time to start leading and to come forth and say, this
Right.
is what we're going to do. This is what our intentions are.
Unfortunately, we're out of time. I had so many more questions for both of you gentlemen. General John Teichert and Colonel Tony Grady, thank you so much for joining us this morning.